We're going to invite on our special guest this morning. And so, our special surprise guest this morning is Erin Leigh Patterson.
Woo! Come on down.
Woohoo! Come on down.
Was hand selected for you, Erin. You have no idea.
I love it. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
So last week we were talking about how we should have like music that introduces the guest coming out. And that song popped into my head for you, Walking on Sunshine, for two reasons.
Aw,
So
I'm
one is
honored.
because when I think of you, I do think of sunshine, like just light, kind of like pouring out of you, just light,
Aw,
life. And so that was one reason. But the second reason is because you're in Florida right
yes.
now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to say a quick word of why you're in Florida?
Yes. Well, I don't know if everyone's heard about the coronavirus, but um, that's why I'm here. I came down in April. My family lives here. I grew up in a town called Gainesville, which is where the University of Florida is. And so I came down here in April to hang out with family and not be alone in an apartment.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
and my job went remote like pretty quickly. I think March 12th or something was our first day that we all started working remotely, and so we could be anywhere. So came down
Yeah.
here, getting
Well,
got lots of good time with my nieces, which is definitely a gift.
yeah, totally. Maybe
Well,
can
be
you
safe
tell
out
folks
there,
what it
you
is?
guys.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Go
Nope.
ahead, Alicia.
Oh, I was just saying, be safe out there, Florida. I know it's pretty rough out in Florida.
I know it's ironic how when I was in New York, the rest of the country didn't want people from New York, and then now it's like I don't think New York would take me back yet. So, but yeah, we're thankfully our town is pretty. We're pretty strict about masks and procedures and guidelines and stuff. So our county's cases are lower than most counties in the state of Florida. But yeah, it is. It's climbing. It's unnerving for sure.
Yeah. I was just going to say, when you were talking about how, like, in your job, you're able to work remotely, I was going to just say, since people may not know you, like, what it is that you do for your job.
Oh yeah, I work in marketing. I work specifically mostly in social media, and I've worked pretty much in the consumer packaged goods, personal care space for 15 years, I guess, going on 15 years. So, but yeah, so work mostly doing social media and communication strategy at an agency.
Very cool. Do you ever
Yeah.
get free products from, if like consumer good, do you ever get free products from your clients?
Yes, that's part
Oh,
of the
sure.
deal.
Got a closet full of, some kind of miracle working creams and
It's funny. My colleagues and I have joked how we've all started running out. And when I used to run out of, I would run out of lotion or whatever, I would just go to the product closet at work. And now I have to actually like pay for it.
darn it.
Crazy.
I love the term product closet.
I
Everybody has that.
And it's like if you're into like skincare and beauty products and stuff, it's literally like, a child at Disney World. It's really fun.
That's like my parents' house. So like Korean churches lavish gifts on their pastors. And so my parents have a room that they call the gift room. It just has, it's like stuffed with like ginseng and like oriental, different kinds of oriental remedies, and like like fancy designer ties for my dad, and like beauty products for my mom. And so my mom is often regifting from their gift room. But whenever I go to visit my parents in Korea, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Like just, these like really nice pens and stuff. Yeah, if you have access to one of those, it's pretty awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, very cool. All right, last question for you before we
Yeah.
jump in. So how did you come to St. Peter's?
Well, I feel like I've answered this question for you before, Christine, and it's kind of funny, but I had met Christine at a Young Life event many years ago, and I was wanting to like visit churches and stuff, and I was like, oh, I wonder where Christine is these days. And that was how I saw St. Peter's. And then I think I started following St. Peter's probably on Instagram or something, and like looked at the website, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And that was back in November. So I think you had just started there in like October, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So it had been like still pretty early on. So, but I was, kind of out visiting, and I had been connected with All Angels through Young Life a little bit, and just had some good friends who attend there. And so, yeah, wanted to come and check it out. And then I just never left. Everybody sucked me in so kindly and warmly.
Well, we're glad you
What
came.
we do.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
We'll never let you leave. It's like Hotel California.
I'm here for it.
All right. Okay, so let's jump in with these questions. I actually switched one out, so it's like I
Okay.
want to keep people on their toes, So
Yeah,
all right.
absolutely. Well, because I am, you do the 10 questions that Brene Brown does, right? Or
Yeah, but then Denise, she suggested a couple other questions, so we switched. But some of them are, yeah, a good portion of them are Brene Brown.
okay, got it.
Yeah. All right. So, who is your dream dinner guest and why?
So this is an interesting answer. So I love listening to podcasts, and there's a podcast called The Popcast that I really like. It comes out once a week, and it's really fun. And one of the hosts is this woman named Jamie, and she's just sounds so funny, but also kind of mysterious. Like I have a lot of questions for her that she doesn't answer in the podcast. So I think my honest answer would be her. But actually, my honest answer right now would be anyone, because having dinner, that's what Denise said one week. And I was like, amen, amen. And I am right there with you. So I think anyone. But then post-COVID world, probably it would be Jamie Golden. I am a huge Brene Brown fan. I've been a super fan for many years. But I think in terms of questions I really am curious about, it would probably be Jamie Golden.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll have to check her out.
Yeah.
Podcast.
The podcast is very funny, and it's just about pop culture. So if you need something like lighthearted, not heavy, it's a good little 1 hour break a week.
All right. All right. So, what is always in your bag?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, again, I don't really use a bag that much anymore because I don't go anywhere. But I always have a tube of Aquaphor. Like I can't go very far without Aquaphor. And I also always have lotion of some kind for my hands. Again, it's like a nervous habit probably. And a nail file. I think those might be like the most obscure. Like I have to have, I don't know. I just have this like underlying fear of, scraping a nail on something. I don't know what it is, but I always feel this need to, and if I don't have one, I end up, feeling a little panicky. So.
Well, if you ever get kidnapped and you're in handcuffs, if you could get a hold of that nail file, it could take you maybe a year or so, but you could start filing.
Exactly. That's why, Denise, it's a safety precaution.
There you go. Because one never knows.
You never know. It's true. And the Aquaphor, between the Aquaphor and the nail file, I'll get out.
Actually, I didn't even think about that, Denise. That's a really good point. I mean, not only like if you get kidnapped, but like just as a weapon.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, like
I'm thinking
like before any restraint comes on, it's
stabbing.
Yes.
Okay.
a good old jab with a nail file could, buy you some time.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, so then the new question is, this is a common like icebreaker one, but like if you could have any superpower, which one would it be?
Flying.
Flying?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be flying. I think that would be, I think you're supposed to have superpowers for like, the greater good, but I just think that would be fun, in all honesty. And it'd be so efficient. I just feel like you could like get places so quickly if you could just fly.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. That would be a good
So
one.
if someone was in need of my help, under what circumstances, I have no idea that would be. But if someone was in need of my help and I could just fly there, then there you go. We can put a
There you go. The greater
spin
good.
on it. What'd you say, Denise?
With the nail file.
Exactly. I'll have my bag with my nail file, my aquaphor, and I'll fly.
That's great. Yeah, that's amazing. All right. So, what is something that people often get wrong about you?
I would have to say, it's funny because when I've listened to the podcast, I have thought about the answer to this question before. And the honest answer is probably just that I'm always more like, I'm more okay or more confident than I come across. Like, not more confident might be the wrong word, but just more like peaceful and happy than I come across. And I think that's a little bit of like, if anyone's familiar with the Enneagram, it's kind of an Enneagram 7 thing. And yeah, so if something's wrong, it's pretty hard for me to show my colors on that. So I think there's a general assumption among like friends or my community often that's like, like she's okay.
Walking on sunshine.
Exactly. And usually it's true. Like usually I really am. Usually I am very, like happy and content and like excited about things and stuff. But when I'm not, it's kind of assumption that's just like, that's how she always is, But yeah.
It's funny that you say that because like when that song popped into my head, I thought about that because I know that you're not always like happy and bright all the time. So I was like even debating, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't pick that song because it's just talking about sunshine. It's like the stereotype of what Erin Leigh is like, and yet, in the midst of that, you're a light.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no. And that's the thing is like, I love that. I love that's what people know me for too. So I wouldn't want that to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't change. Okay. So then the other next question is, what's the last TV show that you binge watched?
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek. Is that a good show?
It is.
Isn't it, Leisha? It is so good.
It is really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I highly recommend it. It's funny and it's like, it's lighthearted at times, but it's also just like such good character development and the way the characters evolve and grow. I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, Mitch just commented, it's so good.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
watch it, Christine. Watch it, Christine, in bold. Right?
Well, I was gonna say, like, I'm a big fan of Christopher Guest. Do you guys know Christopher Guest, who did like Spinal Tap and like those mockumentaries?
Yes.
And I forget that, but the two like stars of Schitt's Creek, it's like Eugene something and Catherine something else, but those two actors are like always in Christopher Guest's movies.
Yep.
And anyways, so yeah, I'll check it out.
Best in Show too, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't that the other one?
Yeah, Best in Show. And there's one like something that has the word wind in it about like the folk music subculture. There's so funny.
A Mighty Wind.
A Mighty Wind.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't see that one, but I'm a huge Best in Show fan.
Yeah. All right. So what book is on your nightstand?
So while I have a few, my niece just walked in too, if you hear a voice.
Yeah.
This is that pandemic life we're all living. But hey, Ivy, can I have just 1 minute? Okay, thank you. So there's a book called So You Want to Talk About Race, and that one is on my nightstand. I'm reading that one right now. And also a book called Radical Candor, which is really good. It's like a leadership book.
I know that one. Oh, cute. Oh, you said
Ivy?
Ivy?
Yeah, that's Ivy. Do you want to wave? You're on TV.
Ivy, you're on TV.
Well, the thing is, I'm going to talk to you.
Okay, I'll come talk to you in a minute.
You're talking right now to me.
Adorable. All right, what's your favorite meal?
My favorite movie?
Meal.
Oh, meal. Ooh. Um, right now I'd have to say pizza, probably because I miss New York City so much. So I would like love a good New York City pizza. And there's
Yes.
just something, especially in the summer, and you like have a pizza and a beer. That's probably the top of my list right now.
Oh, it's the best.
It's
All
like
right.
classic.
Favorite movie that you would never turn past if it was on?
So I have to admit, I'm not a big movie watcher. I don't know. There's something subconsciously that it feels like such a commitment to watch a movie for some reason, but I can like binge watch an entire season of Schitt's Creek, so it's not logical. But I think one of the movies that I love to rewatch, but that also had a big impact on me was it was an animated movie called Inside Out. Did you guys see it? It came out like
I
3 years
did.
ago.
I did. Yeah.
Love that
I
movie.
loved it so
Really
much.
sweet, right?
It's
Yeah.
so good. And it's like makes you happy, but it also makes you think. And so yeah, I think that would probably be the one. Anytime I see it, like if it's ever playing or someone's watching it or whatever, I can't not watch it.
Yeah. That movie was so brilliant in that I feel like it took something that was really complex and just made it so simple and relatable. I loved it. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah, they
one.
did such a good job.
Yeah. All right, these are the last two questions.
Okay.
So, what is a snapshot of an ordinary moment that brings you joy?
Hmm. I mean, that what happened just now, probably right now, is one of them. Of my niece runs in and often like says hi in the middle of video conference calls when I'm working, and it's usually really entertaining. But it's sweet and it's kind of this is the life everyone's living. I'm not a parent yet, but that is something I see a lot of my parent friends happening, where it's just very innocent and sweet, and would I think in normal days be a nuisance, but right now it feels like a gift.
Hmm.
All right, last question is what are you deeply grateful for right now?
Man, I think I'm deeply grateful for my health, probably. I mean, that feels like something top of mind for everybody, but definitely being able to, do what we're doing and live through what we're living through and weather it okay. I think having a healthy body and a healthy mind is really helpful. So probably that. I'm also really grateful for, having a job and safety and this has kind of magnified all the things that we take for granted. For me, at least, it's just like normal to like go to work or, feel comfortable if you're feel safe. And so I think I'm really grateful for that right now in a kind of renewed way.
Oh, well, thanks, Erin Lee, for
Thanks
sharing
for
that.
having me.
Yeah.
I have to tell you guys, I even put on mascara for this, which I have not done in like 4 months.
Wow.
When I was putting it on, I was like, this is why I don't do this anymore. I
Well,
feel like it used to be the bare minimum. What'd you say, Lisa?
And I said we appreciate it.
Oh,
The extra mile for us. Thank
you're
you.
quite welcome. I was so honored to to be the surprise guest today.
yes. Well, this is the big time,
Th-
Erin.
Yeah.
This is how you know you've
Yeah,
made
we
it.
made it.
Yes, that's right. All right,
Cool.
well,
Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks,
yeah,
everyone.
thanks. All right.
They
We will
will.
see you. And yeah, I guess for everyone, we will sign off right now. But it's great to have you with us and have a great week, everyone.
Yeah.
Love you.
Stay safe
Bye.
out there.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.